reality, what we do is make connections. It's not the grind anymore. So for example, if we go in and say, hey, my whole goal is to dial out 60 calls. I got to make 60 calls. I got to make 60 calls. If you actually broke it down, really what you're looking for are connections, right? Aim your success off that. Don't aim your success off, man, but I made 60 calls. Because technically you could have called the same fucking person back 5 times. Bro, that wasn't 50. You know what I mean? Like, what an outbound call is, a successful outbound call is a call to a lead you have not talked to, right? That is a successful outbound lead. Fortunately, we don't have the days of hand dialing. We have now the days of slide dial. We have now the days of email blasts. We have now the days of a go dial campaign. And so these are the tools that I'm talking about. Is when we brush away all the grind and what we believe is hard work, we actually see that it's not as hard as it was once before. So if I was young and I was saying, okay, well, you know, I don't have any kids, I'm not necessarily married, you know what I mean? Like my whole goal right now is just kind of build my foundation or find myself. I would recognize the position that I'm in, and you are in real estate. Real estate is going to be around for a fucking long time. I can only imagine it's just going to play a major role in the economy. So you're in the right direction. Right? You're not working at CVS as a fucking cashier. No, you know what I mean? No offense to them. You know, people have their own grind, but at the end of the day, you have this opportunity to build yourself a little empire. And if you do it right, then this will feed you for years to come. If you build your roots and you build your brand, and this is something that I believe the younger generation is going to have more success with, because simply the older generation doesn't fuck with it, right? They don't fuck with social media at the end of the day, right? I didn't until I saw the value of it. And so when you establish a brand and you become a kind of a go-to, like all the fun facts that I share on this blog has brought me opportunities. It's brought me into different ventures. It's revived and sparked my hustle. And so it's doing more now from the initial intent for me just to send a link to one of my guys and say, hey, if you got any problems with this, go check this out, right? And the odd thing is I don't even push that shit to my guys because they're already on beast mode. So why fucking fix it? What you should aim for is number one, is not only building yourself your own little business, but look at the potential of building your own brand. Right? Because what you're looking for is security. It's not a matter of, can I get $10,000? If you live your life 1 month at a time, you're gonna die, because it's a marathon, right? And so when we see sometimes some of us fail or some of our numbers drop, is because we're just really aiming for that 1 month. We're not aiming for the big picture. And so you'll see incomes go up and then go down, go up and then go down. And you can typically tell when it's going up because they spent the money from when they, you know, from their last bonus check. So, okay, now you added money. All right, cool, game on. But it shouldn't be that way, right? And this is going to be things that are going to tempt you, because it's going to give you more money than what your friends are earning. It's going to position you to want to show off and buy out the bar, right? Like, we remember that shit, man. It was days of balling out of control and you feel good. You just made a lot of money. You're like, man, it's on me. You know, but you got to refocus that energy and think about really building for yourself. And I think what was helped most of the top earners do that is that they just really build for themselves. There's a sense of kind of selfishness, but at the end of the day, it's for good reason. It's because they're wanting to protect their own. They're wanting to protect their family. They're wanting to protect their status, right? And so it almost is from a greed standpoint, but they're doing it in a way where they're adapting it to a system. And so here, you know, NAF gives you a system that's already running, right? It's already kind of got this momentum. And usually what we do is when we come into this call center, we have a specific energy with us, and we're trying to just catch the momentum, right? It's kind of like jump rope. Like, you just got to time that bitch, right? It's like, please don't let me get fucked up. And then you hit it, right? And then you get hit by the rope, you're like, damn, fuck me up. And now you just walk away. Right? And you're just hoping one time you catch the right rhythm. And really, that's kind of what it is, right? We're just trying not to get hit by the fucking rope. And sometimes what that rope is, we're trying not to get the cancellation, the fucking objection, the grind, and the prospect. And that clouds us. And so when we understand that we can really control the rhythm, we can control the speed and the momentum that we bring to the table by blocking out external factors. Blocking out external excuses, blocking out the fact that my neighbor is struggling, right? Don't let them become a cancer to you. Don't let them tell you that, because they're having a bad experience with a specific lead source or a specific loan processor, don't make that your judgment. Because what will happen is when you experience it, you're going to lean on them and you're going to control that engagement. You're going to make it negative because this other person had a negative experience with you. But you don't know it. You subconsciously are not doing it, but you're doing emails like, what's the status? All caps and shit. Right? It's like, oh yeah, that's loan processor, man. Sakati told me, no. But you got to understand the role that they play. They are a bridge to you to get to a destination. And it's exactly what we're sharing here in these, these different pillars and these different ingredients that help you. And this is why it helps you, is because it really is just building about momentum. And so that is the strategy I was sharing, what this topic will be about, is understanding that you really control that, right? And I think that you are in position right now, whether you are new or you are a veteran, that regardless of the market, we see it turning ship. We see it going towards purchase, right? And this is definitely difficult to some of us who've been wired to love refinances. And this is hitting us at a awkward time because we're also ones who loved easy sales on refis, right? That shit was flying off the shelf. And we become kind of spoiled. And those that survive are going to be the ones that adapt. Those who do not survive are going to be those that are still waiting for the good times to return and for the easy process to return. Because the truth of the matter is that over the last 8 years, you could have came into this industry with mediocre skills and made a fucking fortune, as long as you're with the right plug. And the truth is that now it's not going to be that way. You actually need to know how to persuade. You need to know how to sell. And here's the good news, is that by following the first pillar of waking up early, whether you learn information on my shit or you learn information from other people or other books, something that really gets your brain working and really understanding human behavior and understand, I love that shit. I love psychology. I love persuasion. There's this one thing on Netflix, and is by this guy named Darren Brown. If you guys ever want to look it up, it's called The Push. And what it was he's a psychologist, and Darren Brown was actually the very first person who introduced me to NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And the way he did it was he worded like he was talking to people, but he said it in a way that controlled the reaction. You'll see NLP being used from politicians, like the president giving a speech. You'll see NLP being used by infomercials. NLP is real, and it's all based on how decisions are made. And so he's fusing it in with persuasion to make people act a certain way. Long story short, Darren Brown's on Netflix. He has this thing called The Push, and what it does is it tests someone based on how they're influenced by social dynamics, social influence. And ultimately what they did was they test 4 people and found out who they can persuade to commit murder. Fucking crazy, dude. It's wild. And you're just watching, you're like, damn, he did it. And it was crazy that 3 of the 4 actually did it. They murdered somebody. And it was because of influence. It was because of, persuasion. And so this is powerful stuff, So if you can dedicate like maybe some time, if not a week, to actually challenge yourself in a different way. Look at, try to, if you know you're about to go into a grind, prepare yourself for battle, right? Like just be prepared to position yourself properly so you can capitalize on that moment. That makes sense?
Another Nick No Banger.